So first off, I am really kind of blown away by those two video clips. Really, really awesome, man. And I
We,
love the voice acting
yeah,
from that guy.
he's great.
Um, so yeah, guys, this is basically this is me. Literally, I opened the game up earlier. I'm gonna bring the sound up now for the game. Let me know how loud it is compared to us talking. If it's too loud, obviously I can adjust the volume a little bit. Um, so yeah, do you wanna sort of take us into this? So I click
I mean, I
something
think
wrong.
the easiest way is to just start with Skirmish, I think. Just to get you into the actual battle and stuff like that, and
Cool.
building your stuff, because it's much more fun.
Now I know the options section, there's no point really going into that and explaining what the options are because there's not a lot there right now, but there's going to be expanded on, obviously,
Yeah,
later on. So I don't really want to go into the options section, guys, to sort of talk about the options of the game because there's not really any need to. Um,
yeah,
so, so let's just click on Skirmish and, yeah. So, okay.
yeah, yeah. Okay,
Um,
but like, yeah, it's the stupid delay.
yeah. This is going to be the only drawback right now.
Yeah, yeah. Like, yeah, you have the normal kind of skirmish setup here. You have your different times. You can select your timer up there
Hmm.
to the top right. Actually, we can put it to longer time, so we don't need to stress with explaining stuff.
Well, I'll tell you what, if I put it on the longest one, because
Yeah,
then the delay and that we haven't got to worry about, that kind of causing any
exactly.
issues here, so, um, okay, cool. Um, now, one of
And
the things I
then
noticed here is obviously the difficulty.
yeah, you have
Um,
different difficulties. Yeah, that's something Daniel maybe knows something about.
I mean, it's explained right there. Basically, harder difficulties mean more opponents or more mechs to fight you, and it will use more cards. The AI will use more cards.
okay. So, one of the things I didn't notice here, though, um, is you have obviously normal and tougher, which are basically look identical
Really?
in the way it appears
Yeah.
here. But is that
Well,
actually deliberate on like they don't get any extra spawns or cards? It's actually just a spot harder in actual
well,
gameplay.
normal will not use any cards. So that's the difference
Oh,
between.
sorry,
So
there is a difference. Yeah. My apologies.
yeah, it's
I just
it's a
read.
bit.
So as I've never played your game before, what would you recommend? Because well, from my point of view, when I usually do strategy games the first time, I usually play on either the hard or the hardest difficulty.
I think
But
tougher is a decent kind of mid ground.
Yeah.
because I'm trying to think of the best way to kind of show people this game, so I
Yeah.
don't want to go too
Ming,
difficult and then.
Mingby had a good question. It's 60 FPS, straight up.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah,
Too many games come out with 30 FPS.
I know, and we're a company that really wants to do PC games justice, and that's kind of our main focus. So 60 FPS is kind of something we're proud of.
That's wonderful.
And
Okay.
yeah,
So now I click obviously the timer, the difficulty. What do I click now?
now you can actually go into the hangar, which is the little the icon on to the left, on
Cog?
the bottom left.
The
Yeah,
spanner,
yeah,
sorry. Spanner on the cog. There you go. Okay.
yeah. Then you're in the actual assembly. What did we change the name of this room?
Uh, the hangar?
Yeah, it's not called the hangar anymore.
I'm not aware of that.
Doesn't matter really. So yeah, you have the plus sign up there. That's where you add your new mechs. Right now you have nothing basically.
Okay.
So I think it's the easiest if we just create one right
Okay.
now.
So
Yeah.
do we want to talk a little bit about like obviously these the cores straight away I can see here give different things.
Yeah.
Um. So rather than going through the one at a time, do you want to give us a brief rundown of like the different sort of approach or?
Yeah, Daniel.
Yeah, sure. The design behind the course is to give a variety in the set of units that you can put in your army, and the variety is in if you think if you think back to Heroes 3 and other games like King's Quest, sorry, not King's Bounty. um, there's this concept of stack sizes on the battlefield. You have big units with small stacks, but each unit in the stack has a lot of HP, and you have bigger stacks, but each unit in the stack has less HP, and that's basically what we have here. There's the Isolator Core and the Valyrian Knight Core, and those are the kind of cheap units if you look at unit cost. And cheap units means that there will be a lot more of them in a stack. While you have the expensive units, Northerner Core, which is the tanky one, it has lots of life. There will be much less of those in each stack. And then there's the kind of in-between cores, the Molten Core and the Boskus Core. They have kind of a medium cost, and they will have a stack size of between maybe 20 and 30 units, while the Northerner Core is 10 maybe or less, and the Isolator and the Valyrian are
the main
large.
thing that kind of comes through here quite quickly is obviously like some things are giving you like the Isolator Core. A prime example is you better block chance, but you do less damage, you do less movement, you have less life. So it's kind of like a very sort of defensive core for building a defensive unit kind of thing. So you can automatically see the different uses for these cores depending on how you want to build the actual mech itself.
Right. Yes, the Isolated Core is like the one of the most important stats. Maybe the unit cost, since that is affecting directly how many units there will be in the stack, and the stack is like basically a multiplier of the unit. So if you have a stack of 50 units which do a really small amount of damage, it's still multiplied by 50. So.
Yeah, so it kind of shows you that, you know, there are benefits towards how you want to approach the game, basically. So it's, I guess the best way to look at it is like the core is the main aspect of what you're going to make the mech into. You're going to complement what it gives you rather than, you know, I don't know really until we start doing this. So is there anything we should kind of do here to like just sort of like get us rolling with actually making something? Because I'm looking at these and I'm not sure what I want to do.
The best thing is to kind of start to imagine what kind of type of mech you want to make.
Okay.
And then just start from there. I mean, we can start with doing a little one who can run around a little bit.
Well, I'm looking at the
maybe
Valyrian
shoot.
one, and my understanding this correctly, with the 100% increased counter-attack damage basically means it will retaliate once struck.
Yes.
Yeah.
It only retaliates if it has a retaliation trait or ability.
So let's try and make a retaliation thing, I guess.
Yes.
So we'll start with the Valyrian thing.
Yeah,
so
you
now,
drag and drop it.
yeah, so that's cool. So to the bottom, how do you now do the rest of this?
You just click the next, basically, and then choose legs.
Okay, cool.
The next button on the bottom right.
Right. Okay, so
Right, I would like to say that this build system that we have right
Yeah.
now is due to change, since we noticed there's lots of confusion, and we would rather like maybe there to be tabs of different categories of
We're
items.
gonna simplify it a lot more, and also make it easier to kind of choose things and stuff like that. So Daniel is gonna sit and have a look at it.
Yeah.
I think that's great though. Is like there is a lot of like there's a lot of customization already there, but like you guys say, you want to make it a little bit more easier, user friendly to kind of like say, okay, yeah, I want to use this aspect, so I can go straight to this and kind of grab what I want from it, rather than being like scrolling and clicking and moving around.
Yeah.
I'm like
There's a lot of steps and
reading
stuff.
all of this, and I'm just like, I don't know.
Yeah, there's a lot of information to take in, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, like for beginners, it's kind of really hard to get a grasp of like what do I need to do and like what should I take and stuff. I mean, I would say just try it and see if you like it, and then if you don't like it, just modify it.
So
That's the easiest way of getting into the game.
now the right and the left, are these actually the weapon aspects, or is this
it's combined. That's why we want the tab stuff, because then we can put some boosters that we boosters are basically stuff that you can put anywhere on your mech, and then you have some other kind of things that are limited, and we are gonna show how they are, like where they're fitting and where they should be. I mean, if you click and drag, you can see if they fit and if they don't fit, basically.
Okay.
But now we want to show it in the actual list, so it's not as hard.
So
yeah.
one of the things I'm looking at here, obviously, I'm just hovering over a shield right now. It says 10% block chance, and it says 10% increased melee damage. Is there a reason behind, like, giving... Obviously, the block chance I can understand, but the melee damage increase, is there a reason behind that on a shield, or...?
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of to promote using a sword and board style, or if you will, a shield and a melee weapon. So if you have that in combination with a sword or a axe, then you will. There's a synergy to be had, basically.
No, I completely understand that. And I'm just looking at it and sort of... I don't know, I'm just kind of winging this.
Well, that's great.
There we go! There's our first mech. I have no idea if it's good or bad, but... So now I just click save?
Yep.
Okay. Success.
We have a question from Quran 109. Like, how many options do you intend to have for each part? I don't really know about options. I mean, the stats are set by us, isn't it? So there's no really like way of changing the parts.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Like.
So I mean, all the parts, we're gonna add a lot more parts later on, but the parts you have there are the ones that are available. I mean, we're gonna have option for in the future, kind of changing the look of them, but not like statistics.
So, one of the things I can see here, obviously, before making another mech straight away, is that you have the option to edit scrap, which I think is really nice. And then obviously, when you're selected on this, it then tells you over here, like, you know, the weight is weight, damage resistance is there, the block chance is there, how much it walks, and what directions it can move in, striking your
You
damage.
can rotate by holding the right mouse button also. Like
cool.
the rotated actual unit, and also you can try out your actions by clicking the little icon on the left.
This icon.
The one with the
that's cool.
fist. Yeah.
That's cool. And it says obviously here as well, it's like melee counterattack faces nearest enemy. So that tells me that I have a melee counterattack, and I face the nearest enemy when an enemy comes near to me.
Yeah.
So that tells me a little bit about the mech. So it's like when you're trying to make a mech, you can look at the end result and say, actually, does it have the thing I was after, or doesn't it? And I can go, okay, I need to adjust something.
Exactly.
Cool. Okay, cool. So let's
another.
Sorry, go on.
Yeah. Yeah, no, another thing we can go through is the actual class menu. So if you click the little portrait in the middle of at the bottom,
okay.
There you have a little some options about different classes. You can read through. I mean, that's sort of what I explained before about commander points and stuff like that.
So with the knight, obviously, I'm looking like here you have different images you can use. Are these all the same as what they give you? Or
yeah, well, the images are just
like
placeholder. Well, not placeholder. It's just like we have lots more to put in.
So
these are only cosmetics. So I mean, later on in the game, the plan is to put in the portrait in the actual battle, so you can see the other player's portrait and your own.
So
and
that brings me to a question actually of with the portrait aspect. Are you going to have, obviously with the knights, say you have 5 portraits here, with the knight section, does those 5 knights going to have slightly different
no, it's just going to be a long list with different portraits, basically. It doesn't matter which class you're choosing. It's more like just a cosmetic thing. We're also
like with Hearthstone, you know, you in a way, like, because they're now bringing in more than one of the classes.
And hopefully for the multiplayer, we're gonna put in so you can use your Steam avatar instead of a portrait.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, I know. I would love that too.
So actually, talking a little bit about Steam there, I know I mentioned this to you before when we had our meeting. Are you guys going to be implementing the Steam group invites rather than just obviously a friends list from Steam?
Yeah, I asked Christopher about that, and he said that either it's already in or it's going to be implemented.
Okay,
So
that's awesome.
either way, so yeah.
Cool. So obviously you don't actually have to click the other classes here to see what they give you. You can just hover over them. It tells you, which I think is
Yes,
really cool.
you can do that. Also, you can if you click, you see the difference in your loadout because it changes depending on which loadout you use,
Ah,
or
that's pretty
which
cool.
class. The class determines your strength and the amount of loadout you're
Okay,
getting,
cool.
basically.
So, would you say there's a specific class that's quite good for a beginner, or?
I don't know, Daniel. Do you think?
Let's see.
I would
think
say brawler, but
maybe. Yeah.
yeah.
I think so too.
Okay, let's go with the brawler then. And I just click down there. Okay, cool. So we have our first mech kind of made.
Yeah, so you can just drag and drop it into a slot of your choosing.
Does this actually affect where they start on the battlefield?
No, it affects the strength of the units, but now you have actually 6 on all slots, so it doesn't really matter.
Okay, and then we. So could I effectively just take 4 lots of this?
Yeah.
And that would be my loadout, or I can make another mech.
You can make another mech. You can put how many mechs you want in there, like of the same kind.
Yeah, so effectively you could just have
for
the
now,
one
I don't
start.
know if you're... Yeah, we're discussing if we're going to be able to do that, but that's something we're going to change.
So let's have a look here.
Yeah.
Let's go with the norm. Oh wow! See, this is already different loadout now because we actually have more slots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Also,
depending on the core, it gives you different like possibilities of making a different kind of
and I
unit.
think that's awesome. There's automatically there's different sort of slot loadouts depending on the core you're using, which is great. I didn't think that was going to happen until I clicked and moved it, and it's like that makes me more enjoyable of like the customization and the player's choice. So. Are certain cores kind of beneficial to use with certain leg types, or does it really not matter depending on...
Not really, like the legs are interdependent on themselves, or I don't know if that's the word, interdependent.
Well, I mean, there are... not all legs fit on all cores, basically, because if you look at the propelled minor furnace, for example, that requires a top slot, which you don't have on the northern core.
Which I'm kind of glad about, because that would look really dumb. But that's the good thing. I like that though. I like the fact that there is that sort of simplicity of like, it doesn't have the slots, so you can't have it. Tough. It's great.
Oh yeah, we got a question from Coran again.
Oh yeah, sorry.
109. Yeah, we intend to have more parts than that. This is just a little tidbit of what we actually have in store. So we will like eventually put out new parts and new stuff as soon as we've balanced it. So like the plan for the early access is to have like every other week we're gonna put up bug fixes and small tweaks and stuff, and then every month we're gonna put up a new fleshy kind of bigger update, so to speak. So, but we're gonna write more about that during the weekend, about like known issues, stuff we want to fix, stuff we have fixed, and big plans, basically.
I do like how, like, sometimes you look at things and think to yourself, oh, I'd really like to add that, and then you go back and look at the core and go, oh, that's useless. I think that's really cool. There's some things it's not worth putting on because it says it cannot do this, so it's like, which I think is great.
Yeah, it's sort of the idea is that there's drawbacks with good items, basically. Sometimes the drawback might be in the weight, so it weighs your unit down and means you can't walk as far as you would be able to. And sometimes there's a different drawback, like an HP penalty or something.
Try the thermal cooler, it's kind of good looking, especially on the back.
Thermal cooler?
Yeah, it's up if you scroll up.
Oh, this?
Yeah.
Oh, that looks pretty badass. That does look pretty badass.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know if the stats are good for that, actually.
No, I was
block
just looking at
chance,
that.
damage
I
resistance.
can't do... That's a front thing.
Yeah, I think it's better if you have a shield for that, so it's
Yeah, I was
not
thinking
really.
that maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. Oh, I can't. Can I actually put anything in there?
Yeah,
No.
but ballista is for the top slot, so and you don't have that. So.
Put that in there. Damage resistance. Or
That's a shield.
oh, it makes sense in a second. That's the other thing as well. Is like I feel like this could do, like you're saying, with the list of items you can put in, having the sections like say, yeah, this is front, this is back.
Yeah,
would
we're
make-
gonna do
yeah.
more of a like overhaul of the whole
'Cause I feel
kind of interface.
That,
It's been a like to do for a very long time. It's
Yeah.
just been very like everything else has been in priorities just to get
No,
the
I
gameplay
completely
going.
understand
So
okay, I think
yeah.
we're gonna go with. I can't put anything. So I can't put anything in my right arm because I've got the broadsider. I'm guessing.
Ingve, like
Exactly.
how is the ranged combat? We're gonna show that off as soon as we
Yeah.
get going.
So-
So
I like how you can name these things as well, which is really cool.
Yeah.
So I'm right. So I'm right in saying here I can't do anything in my right arm because I've got the broadsider, which is a two-hand.
yeah, we're gonna fix that later. So
Yeah,
they're
so
gonna be
it
ready.
would actually show as both slots being used. I
Yes.
guess. Okay, cool. So let's grab this guy. Nice. I think for the essence of like speed, we'll just do 2 and 2 of these and just go with that, rather
Yeah.
than me making too many, because I could be here for a long, long time.
Yeah, which we're gonna be later on, so it's
So
fine.
now what do I do now? Do I need to click on like the cards thing down here, or
Yeah,
okay, so we
click on the little
this.
card
Okay,
icon,
so
and then you get your little loadout of cards.
So- this is a question I'm going to ask now. Obviously, depending on who I'm using here, does this affect what cards I can actually access? As in, like,
Yes.
the brawler and stuff. So, when I'm using the brawler, this will this when I click the cards here, it will tell me what cards I can use. It won't have cards I can't use.
that is the plan, but right now it doesn't really matter which class you're taking.
Right.
All the cards are available for you right now, and this is just a little snippet of what cards we have
Corin,
available.
we can do that later on with the bigger max. Right, so how many cards am I able to use here?
You have 16 slots available, so if you click on any card, it'll show up at the bottom.
Unit will be busy
as a little
and
small
attack
icon.
any hostile unit that moves adjacent to it. Ooh. Okay, so
I can recommend like dash. It's a good little average thing for
Yeah.
all units.
I will attempt to dodge. God.
Dodge is useful.
Yeah, I'm kind of. I'm just looking at everything, going, what do I want?
It's a lot to take in.
Oh, it is.
Yeah,
it's a lot.
I mean, there's a lot of people who've been playing this, and if you're not really patient, it can be kind of daunting, and you give up quite quickly. I was kind of
So-
like that in the beginning, so I mean, it takes a little time, but once you're used to it, it's really fun to experiment.
Do you have a question with Pierce? Gives a friendly unit the ability to pierce 3 units with 20% less damage, right? Does that mean that if I line it up correctly, I can fire and shoot through multiple targets?
Yes.
Yes.
Right. Okay. I'm asking
they
because I
have to
want to make
be-
sure I understand. They have to be in the right line.
Yeah, but they have to stand adjacent to each other.
Oh, okay. So it's
So-
not maybe as good as I thought.
So in a row, basically.
Give a friendly unit the ability to do 1 counterattack with that. So, if a unit has counterattack, it will already use that bit. If you use retaliation on top of that, does that mean it attacks multiple times?
No, it will just increase the counterattack damage in that case.
Ah, okay, that's kind of cool. Slow. Gives friendly unit more damage. How many cards can you use in a turn?
Depends on your how many command points you have.
That's good to know. If
Each
it's
card
effective-
costs command points is the number on the card.
Right. That's
Yeah,
actually
the
really
number in
nice.
the middle.
Okay, so let's have a look here. Let's go. So I have 16 cards, yes?
16. Yeah, you can pick how many you want, and also you can have how many duplicates, because the more you have of one card, the higher the chance is that you get that card. So you can have like multiple of one.
It's 12. It's like,
it'll stop you when you have too many. So it's just click away.
Um, friendly unit ability to knock back with. Um.
So yeah.
I think I have
was I
16.
thinking?
Yeah, I have 16.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Okay. It's the delay.
Okay, so.
Cool. Then you just click on the same icon to get out of that menu.
Now what? Now what do I click?
You click the same icon with the cards.
You can also press escape.
I
yeah.
come back out of that. I mean, what do I click next to actually kind of move forward?
Oh yeah, you can get out of the hangar if you just click the same cogwheel with the wrench.
Okay, cool. And I just click start.
Yeah.
Awesome.
You can select different levels too, but that's yeah.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Let's go with this one. This is gonna go horribly wrong, I can tell. So is there a deployment
it's
phase in
gonna
this
be
game as
exciting.
well as
No, not at the moment.
Okay.
I don't know if we're gonna have that because
Nope.
yeah, but I would like that because I mean melee and range, if they get clogged up in a weird way, it's unfair
It
for
would be nice
you.
to have a
so.
deployment area, like when you start the
Yeah.
mission, you kind of choose how you deploy. Now, is there a way to move around the map?
Like the middle mouse button is for panning, so if you hold that, you can move your camera around. And scroll is zoom, and then you can also use the WASD, but it's kind of weird right
Can
now.
you
so-
rotate the map?
No, not at the moment. In all fairness, you don't need to rotate. In my,
No,
I mean,
I'm
there's
just
not
asking.
much.
I'm just asking because
Yeah.
you know I'm referring this to games I've played before, so I'm like asking if there's certain things in there and whatnot.
I mean, if you look at the Heroes of Might and Magic, it's just a static map usually, and
So-
it's kind of what we're aiming for. It's just simple and easy to
Now,
kind of
I understand
navigate.
down here we have I have 4 of 10 points at the bottom, which allows me to use different abilities from my cards, etc.
Yeah.
So am I forced into moving units in a certain order, or do I get to choose my units I want to move? Can I just select?
You can select whichever you want to
Okay.
use at any point. And like the green dots are the action points, so if we have a little rule, like for ranged units, you can shoot and walk, but you can't walk and shoot. And for melee, you can walk and beat people up, but yeah, I mean, you can't really beat anybody if you're not close to them.
And
So
what is the range of things?
what do you mean ranged?
Is
It
there
all
a range,
depends.
or can you just shoot stuff?
Yeah, Daniel.
Yes. Okay. So first off, the action point rule that Martin just mentioned. Since you're the brawler class, you have the move and attack trait, which allows your ranged units to move and then attack. And so this class is the exception to the rule.
So normally it'd be shoot then move, not move then shoot.
Exactly, for ranged units.
So that
For
kind
melee,
of gives you that customization again with the different classes giving you slightly different approaches, which is
Yes.
awesome to hear.
exactly.
Is damage affected by range?
Yes. So there's a just like in Heroes, there's a point. There's a point where your damage will be halved, the range damage.
So how do you know what
I'm.
that is?
Yeah, and that's one of the things I've written down to work on to
Yeah.
display how.
So it's like obviously from right now, my first entity that I can use, I can shoot a guy opposite me, I think. And it says
Yes.
56 to 83, but it says my projectile does 247 to 370. So that instantaneously means that I need to get closer
Yep.
to do more damage. So if I move forward, I'm still doing the same damage, but I need to get close in order to basically get the full functional use out of my gun.
Yeah. Also since the first turn, the opposing team has a bonus to resistance,
Right.
which is the shield icon you see.
Yeah.
That's just because it's the first turn.
I thought Otherwise, you could possibly steamroll stuff a little quickly.
Yeah, exactly.
So obviously,
On special and smaller maps.
one of the things I should also ask here, like with the controls, is how does the controls work? Is it left click select, right click to move? I should actually get you to kind of explain that quickly.
No, left click does everything, and
left click does everything.
right click does deselect basically.
Right, I just want to make sure so people when they sort of like see this, because like I accidentally right clicked, I wasn't sure if I did something wrong, so I just double check.
No, right click is always like deselect and undo and all that stuff. So
so I like that
yeah.
aspect that like I hit the guy, it said it did -2, so obviously his number's gone down by 2, but it showed damage I did as well. So now the health, the little bar below the number, is obviously reduced as well. So that tells me that I've killed 2 and possibly 2.5 actually, rather than just 2.
And you can click the unit to read more about like him and stats and stuff like that in the top right corner.
So, obviously with the cards aspect, like obviously Overwatch, this unit will be busy. Do you actually have to use cards on entities before or after you move and shoot them, or can you use them afterwards, like with the Overwatch one? Can I use that now on a ranged unit, and then it will
You can put Overwatch whenever you want.
So the cards can be used any point in your turn. They don't.
Yes, you can play around with like whatever you want, as long as you have enough control points for it.
So, the other question I'm going to ask now is, can you forego attacking and move a second time?
Yeah, it's just limited. You can't
like here,
really move that.
I can effectively move him one more tile, but
Yes.
I can effectively move him.
We put that limit on because our maps are usually very strict on space. This one is this is actually going to be the largest level we have.
Okay.
We're not going to make them any bigger than this because it just makes the rounds so long.
So, as I can see here, obviously, Overwatch will attack any hostile unit that enters the Overwatch face line. Now, how do I actually apply this to a unit?
You drag and drop it.
So I drag and drop this onto the unit, and that then affects him.
Yep.
And basically that then tells me that anything that moves in the line in front of him will get shot at.
Yeah.
Cool. Now, how do I end my turn?
It's the little timer on top.
Right.
Or you can just press space.
Okay.
Ammo amount. No, we don't have that. We tried it once, but it was kind of fiddly and yeah, it didn't really help the gameplay a lot.
So, one thing I noticed here, right, I put the Overwatch thing on it, but it didn't seem to attack. Is that because of the range?
There's a range.
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, if you, there's also it's showing how far it overwatches, but
didn't see that. So.
No, it's not that clear because you have to like select the unit that is overwatching right now, and it's not.
It's kind of unclear. We're gonna change that up a little bit.
That's fair enough. As I say, it's there's a lot of little things that kind of, the main aspect of the game is there, which is the key. Now,
this is what we worked so hard with, is getting it to kind of have a nice game flow.
Yeah.
Just the
like
feel of
here, with giving strength unit, which obviously increases a friendly unit's damage by 30%, does that affect the same on both melee and ranged, or is it?
Yes, it's the same.
It is the same. Okay, so if I click this onto him, and then, oh wow, that's crazy. I like this. I can already see different aspects of how you can kind of really what's the word I'm looking for? Not really abuse the game, but definitely make it work very well for yourself. If that makes sense.
Yeah, there are limits to it, but yeah, you can almost abuse it.
Now, I'm guessing with like dashing abilities, it's best to use them for when you actually want to go into like melee aspect.
Yeah,
so there's no real point me using dash now.
Ranged is not really that it's not really that well applied for a ranged, but unless you're attacked or like hunted by someone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With dash, how far do you actually move with dash?
You can try it, and you can just right click if you want to cancel the
Right,
dash.
so oh right, so that right, okay, I see it. Yeah, so the next question I'm gonna ask is, am I able to move and then dash and then attack?
Yes.
No. You can't move, dash, and attack because then you've used. Oh wait, you can.
Because isn't
No.
the card separate to your two
Yeah,
actions?
you have two. You have two actions, so you can move and attack. And yeah, you can move and dash and attack. Yeah, that
So
should be
effectively,
possible.
So I'm gonna try this. I'm actually gonna try it in this one when I get a bit closer. If I can see if I can actually do it, because I'm intrigued.
It's an experiment.
So.
Yes.
So I don't know if that was actually an implementation that you did want to happen or not. So we're about to find out if it does. Because if it does, then obviously, and you say actually we don't want that to work.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to like do something and then find out that you didn't intend for it to do it. So let's move.
Well, there's a lot of things that we
Yeah.
haven't tried.
So dashing here, do I actually have to hit the target by overlaying with the target, or do I have to get next to the target for the dash to connect?
You will
next-
see if
You can do diagonal attacks and straightforward. So it
if you
doesn't
click
really
on
matter.
the targets.
So
Yeah, you can dash into. If you click
I-
on him
dash to him, but it stopped me before him.
before him,
Yeah, I stopped just
right in
before
front of him.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
because he
but
overwatched.
Ah, yeah.
Ah, okay. So
He
now,
overwatches before you actually hit him. So
Yeah.
now you
That's
have to
a pain.
walk in front. So you can't really attack him this time.
but then if he stays there and attacks me at point blank range, even by shooting, do I still get a retaliation attack?
If you put yourself in front of him, he
Okay.
won't be able to shoot you
Yeah.
unless he walks back and shoots. But he won't be able to do that anyway. So.
Right. Okay. And so, do your units block line of sight?
I don't know. Does it?
I can't apparently shoot the guy in front of me. Just to stop.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Is that because
So-
my unit's in the way, or is that because it's not the same line as me?
That's because your unit's in the way.
Depends on which weapon you use. I mean, if you're using crossbows, you can like lob arrows across, so you can just, yeah, they can do that. But yeah, you're using the cannon, and it's just shooting straight at them. So it
So it's like
won't work.
here, I can shoot a guy here, but I'm effectively shooting for a solid object.
Yeah.
It's doing a lot less damage.
That's. Yeah, you see, it has a 75% damage penalty. This I'm not sure if this is intended.
Yeah, we had some issues with this level because of the walls and stuff.
Yeah.
There's should be a little penalty on hits and stuff like that through walls. So
No, because I say these are questions that I'm obviously asking because I don't.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
no, we understand. There's still stuff that needs to be kind of ironed out.
Yeah.
So I'm going to try Overwatch here again, and then this should tell me.
Yeah, that one should work if they move.
So how do I know it's going to be correct? Because I click on him.
Oh yeah. So we have to explain phasing as well. So there's phasing in the game, which means the way your units, the direction your units are facing, it matters. So, for example, when you use Overwatch on a mech, it is important to pay attention to which direction is your mech facing, because it will Overwatch in that direction.
Right. So at the
So
moment,
if you-
my guy is facing slightly.
Kind of diagonal.
Because I shot at a unit that was slightly off center to me, so I'm now changed to a different angle. So how do I know where my
Exactly.
mech is going to shoot? Is it the dark blue?
If you select your unit which is overwatching, you see some kind of graphic on the ground. Yeah, it's
I
not
don't
that.
think so.
Oh, it's
Clear.
here. It's here. I can see a little circle here. Which is
Yeah,
inside the
exactly.
wall, so
It's
not
very
quite-
faint.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
Okay.
that's something we need to fix anyway. So I mean, it's gonna be much more clear, and you won't have to click on them, I think. But yeah, we'll see how that goes.
That's fair enough.
Yeah.
I'd
Yeah,
say
it's
little things like
crosshairs.
this, you can kind of appreciate. And
Yeah, that's why we're in early access. Like stuff like this needs to be kind of fixed. So
As I say,
Yeah, the
I'm
presentation.
this is the first time I'm playing this, so it's like I'm asking
Yeah,
all the
you're
questions.
pretty good anyway. You're not dead yet.
No, I'm not dead yet. That's good. That's a good point. I'm not dead yet.
It's a good
Give it
start.
time. Give it time.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have said anything.
I
Right.
think it's a tough game to win right now. Maybe.
Wow, that tells me I'm gonna overkill these things. I guess I just happily overkill these things.
That's a
So
good
that's,
idea,
that's
maybe.
actually an interesting thing here. Like, I wanted to shoot the one behind it, but obviously because I can't, it will shoot the one in front. But like you said before, if I'm using a different gun, I could effectively do something like that.
Yeah.
So I overwatched.
Did you see that? Like maybe it told us like, what about adding the option for the Overwatch to pick direction as well?
That would be really
That's
handy.
something we could
That
actually
would be
look
very,
into.
very handy, to be honest.
Mm.
Because from my point of view, overwatching a target and not having the choice of which way they're facing seems kind of restrictive. Because it kind of counterproductive to do in the Overwatch.
I'm writing that down, I think.
MB, okay.
So how do I know? Because this entity next to me has a little lightning bolt next to him. That's telling me that he's
buffed.
He's buffed. Does that mean he's actually buffed with Berserk?
If you click him, like not when you have anything selected, just
Deselect
to
my guy name.
yeah.
Oh, he has dodge. So I can actually select him. I can mouse over him, but I can't select him. So I can't,
really?
Hello,
Yeah.
everyone. Can you hear me?
Oh
I
yeah.
can hear him.
Hey.
So I
Oh,
can't
we're
actually
four in
select
chat
him
now.
because if I click on him,
Just make sure you have your own unit deselected, then you can click on other units and see their stats.
I can mouse over it.
Everybody,
And
that's-
if I hover over it, it does, but I can't select it.
We have Christopher in, like the architect, so to
So-
speak.
Yeah, hello, everyone.
So yeah, I can mouse over it and it brings up some information, but I can't actually select it to keep the information up and move across to maybe see what it is. But
Yeah, that's like I don't know if it's an issue, but technically you're supposed to like have your own unit selected, and then while you're hover over another unit, you can like see the stats for that unit as well. But
no, that's fine. I must admit, I'm kind of just going to, yes, destroy that target. Okay, that's good. Let's see.
Bam.
That Overwatch.
Finished
though.
him. He's got some Overwatch going.
That is my turn. So I should hopefully have an Overwatch down here. No, it didn't shoot anything. So Overwatch just seems to be a little bit, I'll be honest, a little bit counterproductive for me, because my guy is showing, because this guy down here I would expect to shoot the guy that moved up, but he didn't do anything, he just stood there and just looked towards him, which is kind of weird. So I think Overwatch does need a little bit of work.
Yeah.
But that's fine. It's mainly because like when you click the card of Overwatch to actually go onto a unit, it would be nice to kind of maybe have the, like a, I guess highlight a set of squares of where it's actually going to affect.
yeah, that's actually supposed to
option to apply
be the
or-
way. Like instead of right now, the graphics are actually really bad for Overwatch. Like it's supposed to show exactly like the squares that when you step on it, the Overwatch is gonna trigger.
So
And it's gonna be like in an arc in front of your character. And about the facing issue, yeah, I will probably look into that. If you can, like, there should be more ways to control the facing of your mech, like even after you move.
I think the combat's very fluid. It's very fluid.
Yeah, that's sort of what we're aiming
there's
for.
no real issues with it, from what I can tell, apart from like a few oddball things possibly not quite working as you guys intended them. But then, as I say, it's early stages in some ways, so there's a lot of stuff that you guys want to fine tune and change and stuff. But overall, I think that was really fun.